Jomboy Media has introduced thousands of Americans to cricket via his breakdowns, and now Jomboy is helping educate Americans about the rules and gameplay of cricket with his Balls in Play League. Joining me now is the undisputed star of the series, West Indies and St. Lucia cricket legend, Daren Sammy. Daren, I'm happy to be here with you.
That's one of the teams, man, that played in the competition. It's a pleasure to be on your show, man. But what a great series it was, put on by Jomboy Media. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Just the cross between baseball and cricket. That was exciting.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, from the moment you arrived, it was just a great time. Everyone just had a celebration. It seemed like I was doing the scorekeeping up by you and Chris in the booth, I guess we could say. And it was I kept getting distracted from scorekeeping because I was enjoying your commentary so well. You and Chris were just absolutely electric up there.
Yeah, I think Chris brought his energy. I brought mine, and the two was just a good synergy, man. Yeah, just listening to him do his thing, the baseball side, and I add in my cricket knowledge and my enthusiasm about the game. I think it was good, a good combination. Big up to John Boy Media for actually bringing me over. For that, I think that, yeah, and from hearing and listening to all the feedback, it seems it was a success. We might have to do that again.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people want that. Based on the comments, we were talking a minute ago how you avoid the comments. You don't read the comment section, right? That's good advice. That's almost
yeah. I try to avoid the comment section, on social media. It could be a rough place, but yeah, from what you've told me from the guys at Jomboy Media, they're quite happy with it, and it means that the product was good. So hopefully we could continue this.
Yeah. It's almost motherly advice at this point. Avoid the comments. But the comment section was unbelievable for these games. There'd be 200, 250 comments per game, and 245 of them were positive comments. It seemed like it was unbelievable. And probably 220 of them were "I love Daren Sammy." So there you go. You've got a whole new
man. I love
there.
Chris Rose. I love Chris Rose too, man. They look. Like I said, I thought just to have conceptualized that idea, and bring it into that warehouse, and to present it in such a way that the fans understand and love it. I think that's kudos to the production team. Chris Rose was brilliant, and yeah, it has. I've looked at a few baseball games, as well, because of that, So yeah, it's all well and ends well, man.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, this Ball and Play League, which basically the sport is called Critsball, invented for this purpose. What it does is it's a hybrid between kind of blitzball, which is kind of like a wiffle ball baseball style game, and cricket. So it uses cricket rules and blitzball playing, basically batting and bowling, blitzball batting and bowling. So blitzball skills, and combines that with cricket rules, and the whole idea is to get the ball in play more often. So there's no foul territory in cricket, as you know, everything's in play. So the strategy is very different from baseball. It was great to see in the comments how many people caught on to the strategy so quickly. I liked how the strategies evolved with, like, to try to keep them from running a cheap single or things like that. So actually they put the third man in when the poorer batter was in, so to try to keep them from running.
Don't say poorer. Don't say poorer. Don't say poorer. I don't think the guys taking part would love to hear you calling them the poorer batter. But look,
Right.
I think it's in all sports you need the tactical
Yeah.
aspect of the game is quite important. And I mean, the two teams who played in the finals, I thought they were best
Right.
tactically,
Tactically.
and
Agree.
yeah. So look, I learned a lot, but the energy. There was one play, I think, where one of the guys took a catch that ricocheted off the sidewall, and it was just brilliant towards the commitment out there. It was
Yeah.
it was proper blitzball slash ball in play.
Yeah.
And it was exciting for me to call out the game.
Yeah, and that play that you're referring to was Lucas, Jimmy O'Brien's brother.
Yes,
Yeah,
was.
and it happened in the first innings of the first game, so it was a great way to start
Yeah,
the whole series.
yeah. So I think that really set the tone.
It did. Yeah.
Happy to be here. Water jugs. All these guys. They just came up and they bought into the whole idea, which made good viewership for the fans.
Daren, the rules were designed to kind of teach people cricket. There were some really cool rules that were kind of a solutions to problems that happen when you try to hybridize two games. What was your favorite rule in the game that was kind of like new?
Well, the fact that you could get somebody caught off the sidewalls,
Uh-huh.
that was something for me it was new,
Uh-huh.
but it adds so much to the game. Like
Right.
if I was the captain out there, I would force everybody to hit the ball
Into the walls, to the sidewall.
To the sidewall. So
Right.
I would set my fielder there to get the catch off of the sidewalls and not ball
Right.
the ball cooler so that they could hit it at the backboard behind me, the ball,
Right.
which would be the ball. So I thought that rule was quite interesting. I also saw my man doing the man cat, which funny about 2 weeks ago, I think one of the Indian players did that to the England team.
Right.
So
huge controversy.
Yes. Yeah. And that's something they try to say it's not sportsmanlike, but it's well within the rules. I wouldn't do it, but
right.
But yeah, that was my favorite rule. I could see how I could tactically plan my game around making them hit the ball to the square boundaries, to the sidewalls.
Well, my favorite rule kind of works really well with your favorite aspect. And that is I like the circle in the middle of the strike zone where you get the automatic wicket if you get it in the circle, and the magic circle. And that works great with your strategy, because if you're throwing the ball inside and putting in taking away space from the batter, and they back off that strike zone, now you can go for that circle. It especially with the curving ball, with the one that curves in, the curve ball. So you still you can't back off away from the strike zone too much, or you're going to risk hitting that circle.
Yeah, and we had a few bullseyes.
We did.
Where it went directly in that, and off you go, you out.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure how many of those we would have. I was hoping we'd have at least one or two, and I think we had probably 4 or 5, and I think 3 of them. There were 2 that didn't count because they went over the speed limit. But that was also an extra drama, the speed limit, because I think when you're there, you realize why the speed limit exists. There's not much space between the pitcher and the batter. There's not much space. And that ball moves in weird ways.
I think that was quite necessary.
Yeah.
I had a couple hits as well. I mean, to have the speed limit to control, the pace of which you bowling that ball.
Right.
I think that was a great addition to the rule. So everybody is on a level playing field in terms of how fast they could bowl to you.
Right.
And really good rule addition.
Yeah, there had to be some balance, because with that blitz ball, the way that thing moves unnaturally, like nothing else moves like that. Baseballs don't move like that. Cricket balls don't move like that. So you have to balance it. You have to balance that out with something. Otherwise, it's just pure domination by the pitching team. It's the extras would be the leading scorer every innings.
Yeah.
So the final was a close game, and I felt like that was obviously after 5 games, everyone starts to understand the strategy more, and strategy really came into play quite a bit with the final. And we had the first innings ended with 1-run difference between the two teams. The chasing team was behind by only a run, and that's thanks to, I think, the last 4 balls only saw of the second half of the first innings, or the second innings if you're talking about cricket. But the last 4 balls, I think, only went for 1 run, maybe 3 or 4 balls, and that could have made a huge difference in terms of boost of morale of the chasing team to go into the second innings with a lead instead of being behind by 1. And then, when you're talking about scoring 40 runs in innings in that, it's hard. We finally got to see why it's so hard to chase in cricket. Scoreboard pressure is a real thing, especially in a big game like the final.
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, in cricket we say runs on the board in a big match is always pressure. You lose a wicket here, a good over there. It changes the momentum of the game, and I think that's what you saw happening in the final, where those last 3 or 4 deliveries or pitches, they would say, brought the momentum. It could have easily been the batting team going in with a lead of 18 runs. That's a massive difference in the context of the game. Instead, they were only, I think, 1 run ahead.
Yeah, the batting second team was down by a run, I think, after the first innings. Yeah.
So it made everything on a level playing field, and because they finished off their bowling inning quite well, when they went into bat, momentum was with them. And I think I could remember saying momentum with the batting team, because now every run they score means the opposition has to get it in the end. And they did put on a challenging total.
They did, and then they put up that great total. That was the big fat bats in the second innings, which it's a give and take. I like that the bat's actually shorter, so you have to crowd a little bit with the shorter, fatter bat, which means that you're in danger of hitting it more into the side wall. So it's give and take. Yes, it's easier to make contact, but it's probably harder to avoid getting caught out. Yeah. So
and I thought what they did quite well. They made most of the teams made good use of the fatter bat.
Yeah,
you saw more runs being scored in that period. And I thought the team who bowled, the best, would normally win that competition. I always say batters win you games, bowlers win you tournaments.
Yeah, that's true. We saw that in minor league cricket this year, where the team batting first scored 160 or I think 160 something and won the game against the team that had just blown the doors off of somebody the game before to get there. And that we see that in the CPL too. IPL, the team that bowls best wins. We saw that in the final this year in the CPL final. And speaking of the Jamaica, Jamaica played better. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, they did that to us. We only had to score 140 odd, 139, and they bowled quite well.
Right.
Won by 15 or so runs, and then they did it to Guyana.
Right.
Restricting Guyana, and then the big final. Restricting Jamaica to 160 on a very good wicket,
Right.
and they went and chased it down.
Yeah, it's I mean, the game's not, it doesn't always go the way you think it will. There's no such thing really as a par score, at the end of the day. It's all about the day. It's all about what your players can do, what your bowlers can do, to take the game away and put pressure on the other team. And speaking of the CPL, your team, St. Lucia, has a youngster that plays in minor league cricket named Matthew Ford, who debuted for St. Lucia this season and had a couple of wonderful innings. Great young talent, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I remember, scouting him out. I called some of my assistant coaches, Floyd Reefer and Pedro Collins, asking about the upcoming young talents around the Caribbean in Barbados. And Matthew Ford name came up. I've been looking at Matthew Ford from, I think, since the Under-19 World Cup they played in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Kimani Melius was the captain, Matthew Ford, and I think it was the other fast bowler, Shima Holder.
Right.
I think in 2020, Shima Holder was just a nod ahead of him, and I picked him in the CPL draft. But I've been looking at Matthew Ford ever since, and he came in, and did his role, played a good role for us, bowling the hard overs in the power play. I thought he did well. There was a game in St. Lucia. He gave us a slight cameo with the bat, because he also scores runs.
Yeah, he does.
He's a genuine.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he could. He's not even 22 yet, so hopefully he could mature and he could play an integral role in the St. Lucia franchise moving forward.
Yeah, I only see big things for him in the future. I like his attitude. I like the fact that he always wants to be in the tight spots. He always wants the ball in the tight spots, and he always wants to. He's eager to go in and bat at the end of the innings, and I saw that a lot with him. I did commentary for this team, the Morrisville Raptors. That was the team he was on, and he was on that team with two players from the Ball and Play League, Rohan, Phadke, and Abhiram Bolisetty.
Yeah.
And you saw both of them played really well in the Ball and Play League. You saw Abhiram tear it up with the bat a couple of times.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I mean, he looked like a complete player. Yeah, and he was heating it up in the warehouse. I had myself and Chris Rose. We found ourselves ducking for cover a couple of times in the commentary box, because that ball was coming right at our heads. And but it shows. You could be. The opportunities are great.
Right.
For all the young players, so many leagues you could play in. You just got to be ready. You never know who's watching.
You never know who's watching, and there's more and more leagues coming around.
Yeah, and I mean, America, the American League is one of the areas where most of our Caribbean players they do come up and play. I know a lot of the guys play in the Miami Open, the Boston League, the Connecticut League,
and in the minor league cricket,
Jersey,
lots
minor
of them
league cricket. Yeah. So I mean, we gather lots of experience playing with and against different players across the globe.
Right, and we had Rovman Powell playing in the league last year, playing in last year's minor league cricket final, and look what he's gone on to do. I mean, Rovman Powell has always been a promising talent. He's always been, exceptional talent. He is. I've seen him make some of the most impressive cricket shots that I've ever seen anybody make. you know, and I
Yeah,
got to see them right here
yeah,
in North
Rohan.
Carolina.
Yeah, he's one of the guys. I've really admired the way they're maturing. He's matured quite well into the game. A bit more responsible. He's a leader in the West Indies dressing room. Also, winning a leader, winning the CPL, and I know a lot was against him. In that
Yeah,
Jamaica Talawas. You heard his comments about being disrespected, and I know personally about it. What was going on there, and to see him rise above that, he and his team, to win, the CPL, it shows where his mind space is,
right.
and also he's in good form. So I wish them all the best down in Australia right now. They lost a close game today, but yeah, it's hopefully they could continue that good run of form, and Nicholas Puran, with the help of his vice captain Rohan could really challenge that that title that we held in 2012 and 2016.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of talent, that's for certain, throughout the West Indies, and we get to see it here in minor league cricket during the summer. I'm always impressed the quality of players, the names of the players we're getting in minor league cricket from the West Indies. For example, like I said, Rovman Powell, Rakeem Cornwall was here for almost the entire season. We got, I mean, that was awesome to watch, because when he gets going, it's tough to stop his momentum in more ways than one.
Yeah, Rakim, aka Jimbo. Yeah, he was with St. Lucia for I think 3 or 4 years. Just didn't play last year. He moved on to Barbados. He
Right.
scored a beautiful 90 in the
He
eliminate
did.
in the qualifier. You
Yep.
know, got Barbados to the finals. And he's a good cricketer when he's on sound and he's hitting that cricket ball. You know, he could be unstoppable and very dangerous.
He's a very smart cricketer too. He's a very good bowler. um I love watching him bowl because he takes wickets. He's just a very good bowler, and he's a heck of a slip fielder too. I know he gets a lot of
Yeah,
slack. He gets a lot of flack about his size, but I mean, he's got it bang for his buck, that's for sure.
yeah. Cornwall is a complete cricketer, and even despite his size, when he plays first class cricket, he bowls more more overs than anybody else.
I
And
know.
he plays
Yeah.
all the games. So he's got cricket fitness going for him.
Oh yeah, no question about it. It's he's brutal. It's funny watching him bat sometimes with a speedy kind of partner, because you'll see the instincts of both of them are so different. You'll see you
Yeah,
gotta,
don't expect Cornwall to run shot, fast
yeah,
singles, man.
that's right.
It's
That's
got to
right.
be a long single to deep square.
It's gotta be a long single to get a single with him. Right. But he makes up
Yeah,
for it, because he hits so many boundaries. He makes up for it. I'm always shocked he's not playing in more leagues around the world. I think he's pretty underrated.
yeah, he is. But I guess well, he had a pretty decent CPL, so hopefully, that could open doors, and people see him for his talent and not his size.
Yeah, yeah, I think there's plenty of talent to see there. I got to see it firsthand doing commentary for some of the games that he was involved in. He's really explosive. Um Now you almost, I don't even want to say almost, because I don't think anything was going to stop you, but 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 you got a lot of pressure about cricket when you were growing up. You um Because you were raised as a Seventh-day Adventist, Saturdays were off limits, but they were off limits by
Yeah,
not in
I some
practice, right?
uh yeah, it's something we joke around in the house now. I always tease my mom about it. hey, here's a kid you didn't want to play cricket, you know. Look at him now, you know, and we have a laugh about it. But yeah, it was not always so, you know. My mom is a strong, devoted Christian and Seventh-day Adventist Christian, and you know, the Sabbath being the Saturday, yeah, she wouldn't let me go and play, you know. But I tell people that's where I guess all that was me or God's way of just you know, building up my mental toughness and my dedication and my determination, because I mean I was determined to become the first St. Lucian to play cricket for West Indies.
Right.
You know, and not even my mom could stop me. So I would find a way to just run away on a weekend while she's busy preparing the Sabbath food. I'm taking out the house and heading down to the city to play on that same Saturday, man. But the funny thing is, as much as she didn't want me to play, when she hears my name on the radio doing this, taking 5 wickets, scoring some runs, and her friends and her colleagues telling her, "Hey, your boy, I heard his name on the radio. Congratulations!" She was always happy. She was always happy for that, you know. But I guess in the end, I mean, when she realized, like, you know, this is what I wanted to do, you know, restriction now became support, you know.
Right.
She's been my biggest fan, even to date. If I don't play now, I'm into mentoring and coaching. She's my biggest fan.
Well, I'll look for her comments in the Ball and Play League comments section.
Yeah, I better tell her about it. She loves commenting. I've warned her. Don't be commenting on Facebook and posting it on Facebook.
Well,
But Clara has she likes to type, and but she keeps it real, you know. She knows I'm watching, and she doesn't want me to have a go at her.
So yeah, now you've had a successful career with the West Indies. You won a couple of World Cups. You appeared on the Jomboy League, Warehouse League. You've got a stadium named after you. Do you live inside this? Do you live in the stadium? Do they have a special house there for you to live inside of too?
I don't live far from the stadium though. But look, I'm just thankful, man. You know, I've been blessed by the man above to be able to do something that I was quite passionate about. You know, to do it for best part of 17, 18 years.
Right.
And now I'm into mentoring and coaching where I could now impact the knowledge that I've gained over the years onto the youngsters. You know,
right.
I'm just thankful that I'm able to do that. You know, and exciting stuff like you know, Jomboy Media, the warehouse, the ball in play competition. You know, it brings out my true personality. You know, and I just happy I could, you know, entertain. You know, I've been an entertainer all my life.
Right.
You know, so I'm just I could continue entertaining, and with that entertainment, it brings learning and knowledge to players and fans.
Yeah, and you mentioned you're into mentoring, and that's what you're in Pakistan for right now. You're mentoring young national level players, correct?
Yes, Pakistan. I'm in Pakistan right now in Lahore. Tomorrow is the start of the Pakistan Junior League. It's the first of its kind, where it's a league, a T20 competition for juniors, under 19 players across the globe. You know, and I think I get to see the future, you know, right in front of me. You know, 5, 6, 7 years from now,
sure,
these guys will graduate, hopefully, into the national teams. And I'm able to say, man, I saw these guys first here at the Pakistan Junior League tournament. And my role is I'm one of 6 mentors, myself, Shoaib Malik, Imran Taye, Shahid Afridi, Javed Miandad, Colin Monroe out of New Zealand. And our role is to impact as much knowledge as we can whilst we hear about the game, about life to these youngsters. My team is Hyderabad Hunters. So, I came in this morning, we saw a few of the guys, saw a practice session. We got some mystery spinner, and then we got a good leg break young bowler, and our captain Sad. These guys, they so much talent here, and I can't wait to see the tournament starting tomorrow, and hopefully, the future, like I said, will be on display, and we could see it firsthand.
Yeah, the next Matthew Ford in there, and you're saying this league is players from all over the world pretty much are playing in this league, or is it just Pakistani?
Majority is obviously from Pakistan because it's a Pakistan league, but I think each team allowed 4 overseas players, and I know a lot of the West Indian boys there. Nathan Edwards, I saw Isaiah, who played in the under-19 tournament, a fast bowler from Guyana. See a couple guys from Afghanistan, a couple guys from the UAE, a few of them from England. So it's big, man. So hopefully, it is a success. I think it's a good step.
Yeah.
Letting those guys experience, because I'm sure they watch all the different leagues, the IPL, CPL,
of course,
the Big Bash, the 100, and they see that, and now they have their own league where they too could experience playing in front of a full house and on TV and all these things, and start developing that professional aspect to the game, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's great. Maybe in a couple of years' time, we'll see some Americans in that. We have a lot of great young American cricketers right now. It's kind of a golden age, it seems like, for U19s in the USA. So maybe, we'll see them at a stage that large someday. One American that is there with you helping coach is Julian Fountain. And we've been talking about baseball and cricket, and he is a guy that knows an awful lot of both of those sports. He's Julian, he's located down in Houston, but great coach.
I've known Julian for a long, I think over 2 decades.
Wow.
That's how I remember Julian doing a fielding program for the West Indies Cricket Board. He came to St. Lucia at the Minno Phillip Park. I could say it's probably about 1998 or between 1998 and 2000.
Wow.
He came across to the Caribbean. He was island hopping, teaching them proper throwing techniques. Him coming from a baseball background.
Yeah.
Proper throwing techniques and all of that. And Julian Fountain was the person who taught me how to slide. I remember he wetted, the sponge, some tapping on the field, and so we could just slide through. And he's teaching us how to slide and through, and that that never left me. So today, when I got in, he's done a lot of work over here with Pakistan. He was in the senior team as well. So it's always good to see Julian, man, and the work he's done. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, sometimes it's so impressive to me how kind of small of a world cricket can be. When you meet someone as high profile as yourself, I can name a couple of names and who the people are, and it's just interesting to me, that I've gotten to talk to Julian before, and him so well. You worked with him so well. So yeah, it's great to have, and now he's in the USA. He's been here for such a long time. And I know Shiv Chandrapal, the USA women's head coach, thinks very highly of him as well. So, and Shiv just won the CPL. Yeah.
Also, don't forget, she won the CPL as well with Quickly Ambrose for Jamaica. So
yeah,
look, it's guys who've played, giving back their knowledge and their experience, sharing it with the younger players. And as we've seen, you need the seniors to teach the juniors so they could take over.
right.
And when they do, they are learning the right things. And
True.
that's what us senior guys and coaches try to do.
Well, in the future, we were going to have Major League Cricket launching in 2023 here in the USA. The schedule isn't out yet. They haven't announced exactly when the season's going to happen, but I have pretty high hopes and even expectations that it'll be somewhere in between. The minor league cricket season will probably be pushed earlier. Then you'll have Major League, and then you'll have CPO. So if that's the case, maybe your schedule is a little bit free, and you can join Major League Cricket. Or maybe we can once again see the combination of yourself and Chris Rose talking about cricket once again, and that would be absolutely electric.
Yeah, look, I'm open. Like I said, once I get an opportunity to have an impact, share my knowledge, and obviously the timing is right.
Yeah.
And I'm there, man. America, is the place we've been trying to crack the cricket thing for a long time. And I think they're in a good space right now. Right now is the right time with so much cricket being played across, the country.
Yeah.
Now is a good time. World Cup 24 is gonna be held in the Americas and the Caribbean. I think now is the right time to push harder for cricket in the US, and hopefully we could unearth some more talent that they could play across the world. And USA now have a team that could take part in the World Cup 2024. So yes, a lot to be done, but it's not impossible. And if I could play a part in that, I'm more than happy to do so.
Awesome. Well, I certainly hope you can, because it will only make the product better the way I see it. So, but thank you for joining me, Daren. It's been really cool talking to you about this. I've been really looking forward to this launching since it was recorded. And I mean, it's been so exciting to me. I think that project, the Ball and Play League, really landed well. And I think it's only going to pick up steam as they involve more and more people. And like you said, hopefully there's got to be a season 2. And if they do a season 2, I don't know how it's going to be the same without Daren Sammy there.
They're going to have me there. Jomboy Media, you better talk to me. But man, thank you for having me on your show, Nate, man. It's awesome. Always a pleasure chatting with you. And yeah, we'll be in touch.
Great, man. Thanks a lot.